I never thought a joke could tear my life apart, but that night, it did. My name is Olivia, and I thought I knew my marriage better than anyone. My husband, Jack, and I had been together for over 6 years, married for 4. We had this understanding he was the steady, calm one, and I was the fiery, sarcastic one. We balanced each other out perfectly, or so I thought. That night, everything changed. Jack had always been the type of person who never let things get to him. He'd laugh things off, go with the flow, and never let small problems ruin his mood. I loved that about him. He was the calm to my chaos. But looking back, maybe I took that for granted. I never imagined that a joke could be the one thing that broke us. It started like any other evening. We were invited to a party at Mike and Lisa's house. It was supposed to be a casual get-together, drinks, good food, music, just enjoying the night with friends. Jack wasn't the biggest fan of parties, but he came because he knew how much I loved them. I always made fun of him for being the introvert in our relationship. I joked that if there was a party, he'd be the guy standing by the snacks while I mingled. He always laughed, always rolled with it. But that night, something shifted. The evening went as planned at first. Everyone was laughing, joking, and having fun. At some point, someone casually asked, "Do you think your partner could protect you in a dangerous situation?" I didn't even think about it. Without hesitation, I blurted out, "Jack? Oh, please. If we got into any trouble, I'd probably have to protect him." The man can't even carry the groceries without complaining. He's more likely to lecture an attacker about the virtues of patience than fight back. The room erupted in laughter, and I joined in. It was all in good fun. I didn't mean any harm. Jack wasn't the strongest guy, but he was strong in other ways. But as soon as I said those words, I noticed something in his eyes shift. It was a fleeting moment, but I could see the hurt, the way his smile faded just for a second. I brushed it off. "Oh, come on," I said, nudging Lisa beside me. "Look at him. What's he gonna do in a fight lecture the guy about mindfulness?" I laughed again, thinking I was being funny. But Jack didn't laugh. He just grabbed his beer, sat back down, and seemed to retreat into himself. The rest of the night, he wasn't the same. He wasn't sulking, but there was this distance between us that I couldn't ignore. He didn't engage in the conversation like he usually did. There was an uncomfortable silence every time I looked at him. I thought he'd get over it. He always did, right? The party ended, and as usual, I expected Jack to wait for me to finish chatting and say our goodbyes, but he didn't. He just grabbed his coat and walked straight to the door, heading out to the car without saying a word. I raised an eyebrow, thinking, guess someone's in their feelings. I didn't get it. I didn't think it was a big deal. I was just joking. He'd be fine, right? But when we got into the car, the silence between us was overwhelming. I tried to make small talk, but he barely responded. Just one-word answers and quiet nods. It was like he was a million miles away. The tension in the air was suffocating. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what. Finally, I couldn't take the silence any longer. "Jack, are you seriously mad about that joke?" I asked, half laughing, half confused. "It was just a joke. Come on, you know I was kidding." He gripped the steering wheel tighter, his knuckles white, but he didn't look at me. His voice was calm, but that calmness made my stomach drop. "It's not just the joke, Olivia," he said, his voice eerily steady. "It's how you talk about me. Like I'm some kind of joke. Do you even respect me at all?" I froze. The words hit me like a ton of bricks. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "What do you mean? Of course I respect you. You know I love you, right?" He shook his head slowly. "No, Olivia. You tease me. You push me down. Make me the punchline of everything, and I just take it because I thought that's what you wanted. But last night, that was it for me." I didn't know what to say. I felt my throat tighten. I tried to laugh it off, but the words wouldn't come out. "You're being dramatic, Jack. It's just a joke." "No," he said, his voice cold. "It's years of jokes. Years of me feeling like I'm nothing but a joke to you, and last night was the last straw. I'm done pretending it doesn't bother me. I can't keep doing this." My heart dropped. This wasn't just about the joke. It was everything. The constant teasing, the way I'd make him feel small without even realizing it. I thought it was all harmless fun, but it wasn't. Not to him. We pulled into the driveway, and he turned off the engine. He didn't wait for me to say anything. He just opened the door, grabbed his jacket, and walked inside without a word. I stayed in the car, stunned, feeling the weight of the silence. It wasn't just a bad joke. I had pushed him too far. The next morning, I expected him to be over it. He'd always gotten over things before, right? But this time, it was different. Jack wasn't just distant, he was quiet. He barely acknowledged me when I tried to talk to him. I didn't understand. I asked, "Jack, are you still upset about that joke?" He looked at me, his eyes so cold that I almost didn't recognize him. "I don't think this is working anymore, Olivia." My stomach sank. "What do you mean? We've been together for so long. You're not leaving me over a joke, right?" "It's not just the joke," he said, his voice steady but final. "It's everything. The way you talk to me, the way you treat me. I can't keep being the butt of every joke. I deserve better than this." I didn't know how to respond. He was right, but it was too late to fix it. The damage had been done. Jack walked out of the house that morning. He didn't come back. Days turned into weeks, and he continued to shut me out. I kept hoping he'd realize I didn't mean it, but deep down, I knew he was done. I called his friends, his family, trying to get them to tell me he'd come around, but no one did. They all knew what I had done. They told me it wasn't just a joke, it was a pattern. And Jack had had enough. I didn't realize how much I had taken him for granted until he was gone. I had always treated him like he was lucky to have me, never stopping to think that maybe, just maybe, I was the one who was lucky to have him. Now, sitting in our empty house, scrolling through old pictures, I realized the biggest joke wasn't the one I made at that party. The biggest joke was thinking he'd always be there, no matter what I did. Jack was stronger than I ever gave him credit for, and I was the fool who only realized it after he walked away. If you've ever been in a situation where you didn't realize the consequences of your actions until it was too late, leave a comment and share your story. Your experiences might help someone else going through the same thing. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We share real-life stories like this every day, and your support helps us keep telling these powerful, emotional stories.